Hello, friends. I hope your day is going just fabulous. Today, we're talking about water and sleep, or hydration and sleep, which I know are super sexy and super exciting. And you're like, yay! But I couldn't not talk about them in the Healthy, Hot, and Happy series because they are so crucial for weight release. Not only do they help with weight release, but they maximize your body in so many other ways. So I'm going to be giving you my best tips for how to make hydration easy and how to improve your sleep, even if you have children who are waking up in the middle of the night and it feels like, what am I supposed to do, Jess? So I'm here to support you with that. So if you don't already know me, I'm Jessica Joy. I am a mom. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a pre and postnatal fitness specialist. I am an emotional and binge eating coach. And I'm committed to helping moms feel healthy, feel confident, feel energized, and taking that and creating more joy in their lives. Okay. And I do that by helping them with three things. I'm like, what are the three things? I help them flatten their tummies. I help them end emotional eating and release weight for good. And as a byproduct, you just have tons more energy and you just think different thoughts, to be honest, when you're feeling good. All right. So let's talk about the water, the hydration. So why should we, sorry about my dog. We have somebody, service person coming to the house, so that might be what's going on. Hello, Linda. So what's so important about drinking water? Please just let my dog do her thing. She's a little bit of a barker. All right. All right. So when you are hydrated, you're going to have fewer cravings, you're going to be more full, you're going to have increased focus, more energy. It flushes toxins from your body. It's going to support having great skin, which if you're concerned about getting stretch marks during pregnancy, like it's super important. It helps also your skin heal. Okay, sorry, we have a service person coming to the house. Oh man, I know she's so loud. All right, so my question is, do you struggle drinking enough water consistently? Hello, Cassie. Please deal with the dogginess. We have somebody in the house doing some repair work, so it'll get better very soon. Don't worry. All right, so do you struggle drinking enough water? Hello, Amber. Good to see you. There you are. Hey, Cody. My dog's here. We're good. Yes. Okay. So, drinking water. Thanks for the love. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, my question for you, if you struggle drinking water consistently, do you get to go to a store to get your water? Like literally take a 5-gallon jug to a water store and go fill it up and then go take it back home so that you can drink water? I do. I did not know this was even a thing until we moved to San Diego a few years ago, and you can't drink the tap. I'm from Oregon. What a blessing that their tap water is so drink friendly, but that's not the case in San Diego. And so yes, every week or two I take 5-gallon jugs that are very heavy when you fill them up. 5-gallon jugs, go to a water store and fill them up. I used to complain about this all the time until one day I was at the water store and there was a guy there who was just raving about the water store. He's like, isn't this place great? He's like, the water here tastes amazing. And he's like, and I know exactly how they treat it. It's such high quality water. You can't get better water. And I was just like, whoa, it totally finally got me out of the whiny thoughts I was having about having to go to the water store and into gratitude. I'm like, whoa, he's totally right. This water is amazing, okay? And sometimes we forget that, like, water is such a blessing, okay? So, and then we think it's such a challenge to get our water. Look, are you going to a water store? Do you have to like walk in the desert to go to the well? Like, let's get real here, okay? Just a little gratitude / reality check. Thank you, Mindy. Or whoever was the hearts from. Good to see you, Mindy. Good to see you. All right. So it's like, okay, just a little perspective shift on the water. We are grateful for the water and we have pretty darn easy access to it. Now, all we have to do is find a few systems that work for us to make it consistent. Easy peasy. And here are some of my best ideas. Mindy, gratitude is amazing, isn't it? I'm actually going to be sharing one of my favorite gratitude practices that you can do in bed. It's amazing. Some of my favorite people teach it. So Tony Robbins, and then, the brain guy. I'll remember his name later. He's amazing. All right. So a few systems for water that work for you. One of the most common ones that works for my clients is having a water bottle that they designate as theirs, and they know how much they need to drink that water bottle throughout the day. It's like, okay, I need to drink this 3 times today. Easy. And you can even put like a rubber band on your water bottle, and every time you drink it, you move up a rubber band. So you can have a few rubber bands on it. That can work. I like to use 32-ounce mason jars, those big, like the quart ones, 2 quarts, or I don't know, the big ones. And I keep those in the fridge. Sometimes I'll put like a little bit of fruit in it. And then when I got some water, I like to use a straw, and then it goes down real easy. Okay. But first, how much water? So 64 ounces plus, if you are sweating, however much, like replace that amount that you sweat. Okay. So add an extra 8 to 16 ounces minimum. Okay. Just call that a minimum. Be looking at your pee. Make sure it's like a nice lighty lemonade color. But you'll just start to notice that you have a sweet spot where it's like, wow, I feel really energized with this amount of water. And that's where you want to get. Okay. Some people, it varies. So don't overthink it. Hit your baseline and go from there. Hello, Dee. Hello, Kirsten. So much love. All right. So we're talking water. Another great tip is having specific times of day that are just triggers for you to drink water. So I always recommend when you wake up, 16 ounces. You can start with 6 ounces of water and consider it your inner shower. Okay, you're just like cleaning things out down there. I even imagine a water slide. I'm like, ooh, let's get the water slide going today. All right, it just feels good. If you can really front load your day with a lot of water, you'll have more clarity. Like I said, it increases focus. And then an afternoon hydration like rule is great, especially because it'll help minimize like the snackiness. So if I find that I'm getting a little snacky in the afternoon, I'm like, okay, water. I like to add apple cider vinegar to that one with a little bit of stevia, sometimes cinnamon, to give it kind of like a cider type taste. And it's like a great cravings killer. Apple cider vinegar, and then the cinnamon, if you don't already know, is a blood sugar stabilizer. Though I'm not going to say it's the most, I mean, once you add a little bit of stevia, it can go down pretty easy. But I remember one of my friends, she tried apple cider vinegar for the first time. And she's like, how? Oh my gosh. She just like totally freaked out. So, I'm talking 1 to 2 teaspoons in 16 ounces of water. Okay. It's very diluted. You can do it in a shot form though. Oh, that's good. Whee! I mean, it's just vinegar. I felt like guilty saying that. So funny. Mindy, I like to start my day with 2 glasses. Ooh, 4 cups. So energizing. Also adding apple cider vinegar. But bam! See, you have a system that works for you. It's your go-to. It's all a matter of finding your go-tos. That is awesome. And yes, whenever I'm extra hydrated in the morning, I focus so much better and I just really feel good. It's just like everything just feels like juicy and hydrated and lovely. All right. Okay. Another good routine to have is post-workout, just refill your water bottle and have that ready to go. All right. And then let's say you have a job where it's like you can't be filling up water bottles whenever you want. You have a desk job, or maybe you're out and about. I've had clients with both. And so one, you can have a pitcher at your desk. You can even add ice to it, okay? It's like part of your day before starting work is having a pitcher at your desk with your favorite cup, okay? And it's there. Another client I had worked outside, and so she was all about a giant Hydro Flask, kept it cold, and, those are like indestructible. And then I have a funny story. This is one worked for, it was like a coach friend of mine. She was doing this coaching call, a training, and then all of a sudden she like lifts up this giant steel, it looked like a barrel. She's like, I'm thirsty. She lifts up this barrel and it's like clunk, clunk, clunk with the ice. And she takes a sip, she puts the top back on, and she sets it down just in the middle of the training. You know, she's totally like unconscious about it. It's just like such a routine for her. Great. But I just had to chuckle because it was like this Gaston-like cup that it's just like, oh my gosh. But I knew like she's a powerhouse. She's gorgeous. She's awesome. She knows the like importance of hydration. And I know she's getting a ton of work done. So she's at her desk a lot. So she has this massive thing. It works for her. It just kind of made me giggle. I was like, I've never seen a water bottle like that. But it worked for her. Alrighty. So do your thing. If you want to feel like Gaston on a regular basis, go for it. Alrighty. So if you are experiencing challenges with being consistent with water, here's what you're going to ask yourself after hearing all this. How can I make drinking water easy and consistent for me? What are 2 to 3 routines I could have that would make it really easy? Okay, because we can get all these tips and ideas, but it has to weave into your life. And the easier, and choose to make it easy. Okay, you don't have to make it hard. You really don't. Okay, and then in the beginning, as you're kind of like training yourself, you can even set phone alarms. Like make it fail proof, get some habits in there. It's like for 30 days, I'm gonna nail this water thing. And then once I got it down, I've got it, okay? It's just creating that habit for yourself, all right? And know that you're gonna feel really good, and it will support weight release as well because it reduces cravings, we already talked about it. So let's talk about sleep, all right? So sexy, I know. All right, so sleep, the deal with sleep and weight release is that it throws off your hormones, or, you know, it rebalances them in a way that we don't want when you are lacking sleep, okay? So from a weight loss standpoint, fat storing hormones go up, and then fat burning hormones go down. So for example, ghrelin, hunger hormone, goes up. So you're going to experience more hunger. Leptin, or your fullness satiety hormone, goes down, so you won't feel as full. And cortisol also goes up, which is like one of the biggest fat storing hormones. So basically, you're a little more hungry, a little more stressed, a little less satisfied and full. It's like, oh, we do need to take this seriously, okay? I have a system called the Daily News, where it's nutrition, exercise, water, sleep. Then I added an S, stress reduction, which we're talking about tomorrow, okay? So those are like the 5 pillars for physical health, okay? So that's why we're talking about sleep. This is very important, okay? Now, when I say this, if you have a situation where it's very challenging to get good quality sleep, like you have kids waking up, or you just maybe have sleep apnea or something going on, please don't tell yourself that, like, well, I'm screwed, it's too hard for me, okay? Just know, like, I don't want you to focus on being perfect. Focus on making progress, and focus on the possibility of progress. Some of us have had such bad experiences with sleep that we feel like we can create a story that it's like, this is just how it is. This is just how it is. I've always been like this. It's been like this for years, etc., etc. And so I want you to open your mind to the possibility of progress. It's like, if I believed that there was a chance I could make progress with this, like, could I believe that? And if the answer is yes, then you gotta start opening the door, and then I'm gonna plow right through and kick the door open so that you can start making progress. Woohoo! All right. Also, in regards to some of the things that thanks for the love. Woo! So some of the like it's like, well, crap, let's say you got a bad night's sleep, like your daughter came in and was like all in the covers. Okay, I want to give you a little bit of coaching on how to have energy anyway, because we can use certain circumstances and spend so much time, whatever you're thinking, you're going to be feeling. So if you're thinking during the day, oh, my daughter like woke me up, or my dog like had to go out so many times, and now I'm going to be like, we can create a story that we're going to be cranky that day, we're going to be tired, we're going to be snacky. Okay, don't give it any more energy than it has to have. Say, okay, sleep wasn't like the best last night, and that's okay. I can still be proactive about creating energy today. What can I do that would give me more energy today? Okay, and I've done so much research and like on this, because energy is so much about your mindset and so much about choosing it and doing certain things that change your energy. So one, changing your thoughts. Whatever you're thinking, you're going to be feeling. So it's like, okay, like I'm gonna choose that I can be happy anyway, or just like start bouncing. How am I using my body? Am I like this? Like, this is so Tony Robbins, you know? It's like, change how you're using your body and you will start to feel more energized. There are things that you can do to choose energy. I have this like, oh my gosh, I will show you. It's Brendan Burchard. He has like a little 2-minute energizer routine where you, oh, this isn't even the one. That's his release meditation. Okay, I do these because they seriously work and they take a couple minutes. Because like, you're probably like me, or like busy, you're a mom, and we need things that are fast. So having a little bit of a movement break is great. 2-minute dance break, get the energy up. Like when you get the blood flowing, you'll have more energy. You can be doing squats. He even does like tapping. I do this all the time because sometimes my face feels like this. I'm like, tapping, and you can tell yourself, I am energized. Please be open-minded to this. I remember showing this to Chad, and he's like, don't ever show that to people. So luckily he hasn't been watching all these, then that's okay. So you're tapping, and then you can say some I am statements for whatever you choose to be after, going forward. So it's like, I am energized, I'm loving, I'm grateful. It feels so freaking good. And then one lady who does this starts laughing on purpose after this. If you ever start to laugh on purpose, like forced laugh, you will end up real laughing because you'll be laughing at your forced laugh. Okay? And that's very energizing. Okay, focus on what you want. Absolutely, Mindy. Amen. It's so easy to focus on what we don't want, and then we create more of that. Exactly. You know this. Boom, boom. All right, so those are supportive mindsets for creating more energy, even if your sleep was not optimal, okay? Because I want you to be empowered about your sleep, that it's possible to make progress in improving your sleep. And even if you have a rough night, you can still show up with good energy the next day. A few years ago, I had this idea that at around 9 o'clock, I would turn into Dragon Lady because I was tired. And sure, I was a little more tired, sure. But I also focused so much on it and created such a story that I felt entitled to be snappy, to be cranky, to sometimes withdraw from the family. Hello, Maria. And I was like thinking about that as I was preparing this training today. And I was like, wow, like I felt really bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I used that fatigue to be to like tell myself I was entitled to be cranky and be edgy and be Dragon Lady. Oh no, mom's gone dragon mode. Okay. Like, even if you're tired, you can still choose to show up in love and kindness. Sometimes that requires, taking a 10-second, like, quiet time before you react to something. It's so much about choosing it and not creating, like, stories that aren't supporting you. Like, who wants to be Dragon Lady at night? Like, what the heck? Maybe I thought it sounded cool. No. So I'll catch myself still like getting cranky and tired at night. And I'm like, okay, what thoughts can I think that would help me show up better here? I'm like, and that's when I use what I call an anchor thought. This is from Mel Robbins, but it's basically something that you're looking forward to at the end of the thing. So I'm always like, I cannot wait to be in bed snuggling with my husband, and I love rubbing his hair, and I fall asleep and my hand falls asleep on his head lots of times. So funny. Wow, that's personal. Anywho, so using something that you're looking forward to at the end can anchor you through getting through some of the tough stuff. All right, so let's get to sleep tips, shall we? I love talking about energy. That's what happened. Okay. All right. So the sleep expert is Shawn Stevenson. So if you really have like really intense challenges with sleep, then I would recommend researching him. He has some great podcasts on it. He has books on it. He is like the sleep expert, I would say. Shawn Stevenson. So getting more sleep. If you have a family, getting more sleep, it's crucial that you communicate with them in making progress with this, okay? Because they can be contributing to like staying up late watching shows and you want to be with the kids, or you need support, help getting the kids to bed so that you don't want to like, you know, watch YouTube video. I don't know. You just, getting everybody to sleep requires a family buy-in. Okay, and I'm not saying that you have to do some cold turkey thing, but being in communication, maybe on a weekly basis, having a family meeting, setting some goals, type of thing. So here's some of the goals that you could be working toward or on. Number 1 is an electronics curfew. Ideally an hour before bed. That will change your life. Lots of the time, because then you won't like be sucked into just watching and watching. But the blue light emits, I don't know what it is, but it keeps you awake. All right. So it prohibits like serotonin from being released, like the sleep hormone. So electronics off, curfew, ideally an hour before. You could even start with a half hour before bed. And this is why I say communicate with your family, okay? Like my husband used to love to watch YouTube videos and and then of course I'd want to watch him with them. And then before we knew it, it's like hours later. We're like, oh crap, all right. Or I had a client whose family loved to be in the living room watching shows, often like pretty late, and she had to get up for work. And so at first she didn't talk to her family, and they would like be hard on her. They're like, oh mom, you have your electronics curfew. Like you can't watch this anymore. And so it would make it even harder for her. So then we talked about, you know, talking to your family. How can we create a win-win? It's like maybe on Fridays, we know we can stay up later. Or like, what else could you look forward to if they're so committed to their TV time? What else could you look forward to that's not TV time, that is like, well, I'd rather be reading anyway, or I'd rather be doing this anyway, type of thing. And then always being, you know, working with your family to help them create healthy habits too, and being that leader and example. Research who for sleep. Oh, Shawn Stevenson. And then I can type that in there. Yes. I remember listening to, he has like a 3-part podcast series on it. And I was like painting my house during the whole thing. What a memory. I was like, wow, I know so much about sleep now. And that's what I use that's what everything is sourced from him, what I'm teaching, except for this communicate with the family. Because as I was teaching this to my clients, who most of them are moms or in a family setting, it's like, wow, you really need to be communicating to make this happen. All right. And, you know, being in an open discussion, you don't want to be, oh, I'm going to sleep here, so everybody has to go to sleep here. It's like, okay, how can we work on this together? And it would be really supportive if I do have a curfew. Just please say, you got this, mom, instead of, haha, you can't watch this, you know. Request support and be specific about what you need. So that it's like, can you just help me get to sleep? Have a specific thing that you know would really help you. Would you please say, you've got this, mom, when I don't want to turn off this screen? Okay. So with an electronics curfew, set an alarm on your phone. Okay. I have a few alarms myself. I don't have the electronics curfew. I have like a close the kitchen curfew. I'm done eating. I recommend doing that for 2 hours before bed. Also helps sleep as well. But electronics curfew, and it's like no matter what, it's done. You could even set a curfew. I had a client do this a half hour before that was like a warning. So it's like you better finish that show, or you better like, it just gives you some transition time, kind of like when your kids are at the park and you're like 5 minutes left, because if you don't tell them they have 5 minutes left, then they'll flip out when you just say it's time to go, right? So give yourself a little warning time. All right. And then if you're struggling with turning off a device, use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, turn it off, get it away. Okay, if it's your phone, it's just a button. It's so easy. We have remotes. Like there's no reason you can't just turn it off. It is not hard. All right, it's a mental game. Use the 5-second rule. All right, next thing, complete darkness. You want it very dark. If you have clocks or anything that's like emitting light, cover it up. We used to have this like black cloth that was like half see-through that we would put over our clock that had like pretty bright like numbers on it. And I honestly would not sleep as well if we hadn't like put that little cloth over it. And next is a sleep mask. These I highly recommend for naps. Okay, you'll fall asleep a lot faster. I use them every time I take a nap, or I put like a sweatshirt or the covers over my eyes because it releases your sleep hormones when it's completely dark. Okay. Next is to help, here's like some tools you can use to help get sleepy, okay? If you're the type that it's like, well, I'm not sleepy, I know I'm supposed to go to bed. Here's a few things that you can use. Obviously, reading a book, that one's good. Another good one is doing a guided meditation. I recommend Boho Beautiful on YouTube. You cannot make better guided meditations. The only dilemma is that it would be on your phone or a device. So if you can make sure that you just get that meditation on and then move, like be done, that can work. The next one is, hello, Andrea. Good to see you. How are you? Oh my gosh, I miss you. I'm going to be coming to Oregon this summer, so we'll have to get together. A lot of you. I have to see you guys. All right, so the next one is a gratitude practice. There's so many gratitude practice. I highly recommend you do these daily because it changes what your mind starts to look for. Your mind will start to look for throughout the day things that you've been given. Okay, so that you're in an abundant state. It's like, wow. Okay, like primes your brain for what to look for. That's why it's so powerful. It's not just doing because like you're doing, 10 things I'm grateful for. It's so much more powerful than just that. It changes what your brain thinks about during the day. All right, so this one, if you are tired, I love this one because you get to do it in bed. Okay, so you're lying in bed and, it's Joe Dispenza. He teaches this one. Lie in bed. If you spend 10 minutes in gratitude, like really connecting to that, it's a vibrational frequency that feels so good. And it's really good for you, okay? Whether or not you believe in frequencies or not, it just feels really good, all right? We can all understand that peaceful, uplifting feeling, okay? So a great way to tap into this is to revisit 3 experiences one at a time in your life. So you can be, closing your eyes and revisit an experience that you can be so grateful for. This is Tony Robbins, okay? But I've found with doing various gratitude things that you can connect to the feelings a lot quicker by connecting to an experience rather than just like one thing. Like, oh, I am grateful for water. It's like, yes, I am grateful for water. And I'm grateful for that. Like I remember one of my favorite memories was on my birthday. Aijolin was a baby and I took her on this walk in the baby carrier and I was running down a hill and she just like giggled like crazy. It felt so magical. So I'd go again and then like the leaves were falling off the trees in this forest. Felt like a fairy tale with my baby. And you can go back to a moment like that for 1 minute and just be like, wow, what a gift, And then it's like, okay, after another minute, go to another experience. It's like, okay, remember that. And it can be something from that day even. I would recommend doing one from that day. And And that will just get you to a really peaceful state. And like I said, change what your brain's looking for throughout the day. You'll start to see like, whoa, everything's a freaking gift in this world, even the challenges. Okay. The next one to help you wind down is definitely doing some deep breathing. Okay. So like getting the diaphragm down. If you could think about breathing down. Okay. Breathe down. A lot of us are just breathing in our chest. We're not lowering to the diaphragm. And when you breathe with your diaphragm, then it taps you into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest nervous system. Okay, so it physically will change, will alter like your state if you start doing some deep breathing. Alrighty, so good stuff, right? I'm like, ew. So let me know like what you're excited about trying, what was like, oh, interesting. Tell me like some things that are going on in your head. I want to know what's landing with you, what's supporting you. And then in regards to moving forward, it's like try some things out. And again, like asking yourself the question, what could I do to make it easy for me to sleep better? Being open to the progress. It's like, you know, that gratitude thing sounded pretty easy. I could do that one. Setting the curfew, that sounds a little bit harder, but I could start with a later curfew and just get the ball rolling, okay? Make progress. And then be asking yourself what's working or what's worked for you in the past, okay? You have a whole history of sleeping. What's worked? What's been your recipe for sleep that has worked before, okay? And just start making that more consistent. All right, so the last thing I'll say about sleep is like if your kids aren't sleeping through the night, I have clients who are in this situation, so I'll give you a little bit of support for kids sleeping through the night. In the long run, though, it requires you like getting educated about the options and deciding what feels good for you. So like there's a co-sleeping option. Some people don't want to do the co-sleeping. Like you have to come to a decision, all right, about what you feel good about. All right. And always staying in a positive mindset. You can like make plans and then your kids wake up. Just don't be reactive. I remember when my kids used to wake up early and cut into like some of my me time. And I'd be like, man, my time. Don't give it any more energy than it needs to. It's like, oh, they're up. Okay. Like, hello, child. I don't feel as ready for you as I would have. And that's okay. I love you. Connect to the love. And if you need to, reschedule what you were going to do. Andrea, I recently set a curfew for myself. Game changer. Yes, I know. That's exactly what people say. Yes, good for you. All right. They always say that. They're like, I'm sleeping so much better now. And you don't get sucked into watching more and more. All right. Ooh, love it. All right. So don't be reactive if your kids, you know, if it's not clicking too fast and there's little mess ups where they wake up, it's like, okay, they're up. It's okay. All right. So let's say your child is coming in the middle of the night to your bed, waking you up, wanting to sleep in there. Okay. So I'd recommend that you make a decision and a commitment ahead of time. And this would be in communication with your significant other if you have one, about, okay, if you know, our daughter comes in the middle of the night, what do we feel good about doing? Okay, and then you're going to stick with it. It's like, we need to put her back to bed. She just goes back to bed, and we're just going to keep training her. Okay, I have somebody who even created a sticker chart for if their child stayed in bed, and then she'd like be earning stuff to it. Create a system, like decide what feels good. I had another client who she decided, you know, after years of not years, but months of not doing co-sleeping, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna do co-sleeping for a while. Like we're in a transition phase right now with our life. And I feel like this would be supportive. I know it would help me sleep better. So that's like, she felt aligned. That's what I call it, being aligned. And, ew. Oh no, what is this? Iron Man dies in Endgame. Black Widow dies too. What the flippity? Oh dear. This is some weird like cyborg thing. I don't even know. All right. So co-sleeping is an option. really working on making progress with their sleep schedule is an option. I did something when the kids were babies where I honestly would have to wake them up from their naps so that they would sleep through the night. I think it's called Baby Wise. I'm so grateful for that book. It got me to get the kids sleeping through the night a lot faster. And then I was hearing like horror stories from friends that they would be up like 4 times a night with their 1 or 2-year-old. I'm like, whoa. So just know that there's a lot of options to make progress with it so you don't experience as much frustration. Stay in a positive and empowered space about it, and like be proactive. It's like, okay, what don't I know? Like who has this down that I can learn from? Okay, you really don't need, you can make so much progress. Okay. All right. Thumbs up. Thank you. All right. So yes, the Baby Wise book was good. And people will have their opinions. Like, I remember somebody like saw me waking up Jet when he was a baby, and they were like, it just seems wrong to wake up your baby when they're sleeping. They didn't say it like that. They were like, oh, that's interesting. I totally made that like voice. But it's because I felt it. I'm like, oh, is it wrong? Like, I was so worried. I was a new mom, and I was like worried I was being judged all the time, that I was a bad mom. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, oh, is it bad? But it's just like, learn your stuff, decide what feels right for you, and be committed to it, and know that some people may disagree, and that is okay. All right? Do what works for you. All right? That you feel good about, that makes you feel good, that works for your family, your situation. All right. So cheers to more hydration and improved sleep. Hooray. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about stress reduction. This is really important for weight release, because if you're experiencing a high amount of stress, like consistently, then it can really limit your weight loss progress. It can stall it out, okay? Because cortisol is a fat storing hormone. So you're fighting against your body, like wanting to hold on to this fat. So I'll give you some tips for reducing stress, okay? And that includes exercising less. All right. Much love. Good to see you all. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.